Hello, good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ifi. If it's the first time you are seeing this face here, please, I talk about everything about nursing and living in the UK. Please subscribe and then invite your friends to also subscribe. Thank you. So, talking on the latest changes on the UK immigration and visa changes and how it affects the different categories of visas that are in the UK. So, we'll be dealing on this morning. So before we dive into the matter, let me make sure that we understand what net immigration means. Net immigration in the UK refers to the difference between the number of people immigrating into the country when compared to the number of people emigrating. And this issue has been a topic of discussion for many years, which carries, it carries its own positive and negative impact. Positive in the sense that they tend to come and people that come into the UK, we tend to increase the economy, work in different sectors of the country, and then bringing new ideas and innovation. But the negative part also cannot be overlooked. It tends to put strain and a lot of pressure on the social amenities and the resources available in the country. Take, for example, the healthcare, the education, the housing. You will agree with me that to rent a house these days in the UK is like a very risky tournament, because in many occasions, many people can't afford it. A house that used to be a one room apartment that used to be 450, 350, you can see as low as 350, is now 600 and something pounds. So it has put a lot of people have migrated from their country to the UK, and it has put a lot of strain on social amenities that is available. So the government has always, this is not the issue that started today, the government has always looked for a way to, bring down the number of immigration, the number of people coming into the UK, just to make sure that they strike a balance between the number of people coming in and the number leaving. Now, the latest estimate on immigration from the Office of National Statistics suggests that in the year 2022, 1.2 million people migrated into the UK and 557,000 immigrated, like they left the UK, and then leaving a migration figure of 606,000 as at the end of June 2020. But in this year, in 2023, just at the end of June, because they calculate their calendar for the National Statistics Office, the calendar, it seems it ends from June to June. So from June 2022 to June 2023 this year, a total of 52,530 irregular immigrants detected has entered into the UK, up to 17% increase from last year. So there has been a very big surge, especially because they opened their gate to a lot of people to come in. They opened different visa categories for people to come in when the COVID era came in and put a lot of strain in their healthcare facilities in different companies. So when the COVID came, they needed people to fill into the vacancies that were left behind. They needed foreigners to come in and help them to tackle the issue that came out with the healthcare. There were a lot of vacancies came out, so they opened up different visa pathway for people to come in, which includes student pathways, skilled worker, the tier 2, and all that. They also opened those pathways for people to come in, and while people are coming in, they brought in their family with them. Of course, they can't leave their family behind to move to a different country. They brought in their family, with some coming in 10 and 9 and 8 dependents into the country. So this all together has increased the number of immigrants in the country. That is when you now talk about the strain that we are having in the healthcare, in the education, in the housing, and all that, you understand why there is a lot of strain. And according to statistics, not me, according to the news, they've said that a lot of people are not the number of the people coming in are actually from listed country. They listed India, Nigeria, Zimbabwe as majority of the people coming in, but less of the EUs. Why the EUs? Because the UK has already left the EU, the European Union. That's the British exit, yeah. And then so it has put a lot of there are some of those benefits that the EU country formerly used to benefit from them. You know, people from Italy and all that, they used to benefit from them when they come into the UK. But because UK has left the EU country, it had those immigrant don't benefit those stuff anymore, so they don't come in as before. So now on the different visa categories and how these changes has affected it. Now on the student visa route, if a student that came in here with visa route, the changes affected them thus. After their studies, it is no longer a news that it is very hard in itself to study here in the UK. Talk more of getting a professional job after studying. So it is really hard these days to see a student getting a job in his or her studied profession after studying in the UK. So after spending 10 to 20,000 pounds studying, you may end up getting a job in the healthcare sector. So the thing that the UK has put in place is that the people offering the certificate of sponsorship, the rules, the entry rules for them to get those certificates, to give it out to people, has become really difficult. And this is also where I come in to say that this is where some dubious people have taken the chance to scam people, you know, take money from them and give them a fake COS, because people are now desperate after spending a lot of money studying here. They actually want to work and regain back those money. Some people borrowed money to come here to study. So what they do now is that they give them fake COS. Now, so the University of Oxford, there was a study organized at the University of Oxford, and they were able to present all the visa categories, and they were like, which of them has the highest stay rate? You know, the people that tend to stay back after coming into the country, and see how they can bring it down. And they started from the student visa rate. Now they put in place, there is no longer a news that some students after studying you have to go back to your country because you cannot afford to get COS. Getting COS now is very difficult for students after study. So since you can't get, you have to go, you have no other option than to go back to your country. All these are things put in place to check the immigration rate and the rate at which people stay back in the UK after studying. And again, if at all you succeeded in getting the COS, actually you are switching in, some students actually switching to healthcare work for them to get the COS. And when they get the COS, there is another hurdle they have to pass, because the government has increased the health insurance health surcharge up to £18,000. Now imagine a student that has spent up to 10,000 or 20,000 to study and then has only 20 hours to work. And then how can they get 18,000 more to be able to do their IHS fee, to pay the IHS fee, and also be able to pay for the, like, a family of 5 or 6 or 4. So it is practically impossible, leaving them no other option than to just go back to their country. And again, the healthcare work are actually the savior of some of the students, because they finally get the healthcare work and get some that gave them the certificate of sponsorship for like 5 years to stay back and work. Now the thing is, there had been a rumor, I'm not saying that it is true, but it's a rumor that they're also trying to look into the people with a healthcare visa and see how they can reduce the rate at which people stay back. So they're trying to say that it may be difficult for people on healthcare skilled healthcare work visa to bring in their dependent. So you have to stay like up to 5 years before you can be able to bring in your dependent. Now imagine staying like 5 years before you can get the money to bring in your people. So meaning that if you're a student that you've studied for 2 years and then add it to the 5 years, that's 7 years or 8 years without seeing your family, and that can be very depressing for a lot of people, and very demanding as well, because the whole bill has to be on your head. You have to work, you have to run, you have to score the goal. Now, on how it affected the healthcare jobs, especially for the nurses, I can speak for the one I know, it is actually also difficult for the nurses to also get the NHS to give them certificate of sponsorship to come over to work. And it's also very difficult for the care home as well to give, because a lot of people are no longer recruiting because the government has given them some rules and regulations to follow to get this to give someone certificate of sponsorship, which I'll be talking on my next video. I'll be speaking about what nurses now do to get job in the UK. If you tune in, you subscribe, then you can be able to get the next video and see what nurses now do to get job in the UK. Okay, this also did not leave the healthcare assistants out of the way. They are also among the people who find it now very difficult for them to get a job. And then it's still the same thing. When they pass their exams, they have to really struggle to see someone to get, if at all there's someone giving them the certificate of sponsorship, because the people already here doing their studies, and after studies they need those jobs. So they will give, if someone in the UK comes in for the job and someone in another country abroad comes in for the job, they're gonna give it someone in the UK already. So the healthcare job is also not getting the COS that they demand anymore. But if follow me to my next video, if you follow me to my next video, I'll be telling you what people are doing these days to get this job.